So the first meeting that ever openly happened between South African big business and the ANC happened on September 13th, 1985 in Zambia at Kenneth Kaundo's private game ranch in Mfue, Zambia. It was attended by Oliver Tambo, who was the ANC president, Thabo Mbeki, Chris Hani, Mark Maharaj, and Palone Jordan, who were part of the ANC contingent. And then the representatives of South African big business who attended this meeting were Tony Bloom, who was the CEO of Premier Milling or Premier Group, depending on which era of Premier you are referring to. Gavin Relly, the CEO of Anglo American. Everybody on the planet knows who Anglo American is. I don't think I need to explain who those people are. Zach De Beer, who was a director at Anglo American. Tertius Meiberg, who was the Sunday Times editor. And Harold Backendorf, who was the editor of Die Vaderland. I hope I'm saying that correctly. So along with that, on October 11th, 1985, Frederick Van Zyl led a Progressive Federal Party delegation to Zambia. The Progressive Federal Party had always maintained a pretty critical stance in relation to the ANC's economic policies, and they had also recognized that the ANC was likely to become the key to achieving a new political dispensation in South Africa, which I guess they were right about that. The meeting took place between Alfred Nzo, Thabo Mbeki, Mark Maharaj, Thomas Nkobi, and Gertrude Shope on the ANC contingent. And then the Progressive Federal Party contingent was Frederick Van Zyl, Colin Eglin, Alex Boraine, and Peter Gastro. A total of more than 40 meetings happened between some form of religious, media, political, or business representative of the minority white ruling class in South Africa and the ANC between 1984 and 1990 in Zambia only. There's many meetings that happened between representatives of the minority white ruling class in South Africa and the ANC. Many happened in the United States, some happened in other places in Europe and so on and so forth. But there was also quite a lot of them that happened in Zambia. And I would also go even further to argue that the most significant meetings that led to the biggest development and the most amount of progress within the conversation that was happening between minority white ruling class in South Africa and the ANC, most of those meetings happened in Zambia. That is a stance that I stand by very, very firmly. And for those of you who want to sort of see a pretty detailed chronology of all of the meetings that happened between the minority white ruling class representatives and the ANC, those that happened in Zambia, those that happened in different places of the world, you can actually find a pretty conclusive, detailed list of all of these meetings that happened on the SA History website online. And I'll also link to it in the description below for those of you who'd like to check it out. And I suggest you do. It's very fascinating stuff. So during his 30-year exile from South Africa, Oliver Tambo spent about 22 years of that time in many safe houses sort of dotted across Zambia. His favorite safe house being the one that is located in Chelston, Zambia, where a large majority of ANC operations ran from. Actually, it was the ANC headquarters for quite a while. This house is now known as the Oliver Tambo Heritage House and has been open to the public for visits and tours since October 2017, I believe. The event that opened this house to the public for visiting and for education was actually attended and commemorated by then President Jacob Zuma, who himself actually spent quite a bit of time in Zambia as well between 1987 and 1990. And along with fellow former President Thabo Mbeki, who also spent many stretches of time in Zambia during his 18-year exile from 1971 to 1990.